Nova and the glowing light. Once upon a time, there was a magical place called Whispering Meadows, where the grass sang with the wind and flowers bloomed in every color. The most special resident of these meadows was a young unicorn named Nova. Nova was a little different from other unicorns. Her fur was as white as freshly fallen snow, and when the sun hit it, tiny silver scales on her sparkled brightly. Her mane and tail were a mix of soft pink, blue, and yellow, as if a box of pastel crayons had spilled over them. But the most magical part of Nova was the twisted horn right in the middle of her forehead. When Nova was happy or excited, her horn would emit a soft, warm light. Nova was very curious. She would pipe her nose into every flower, look under every stone, and most of all, she loved chasing colorful butterflies. That morning, while the sun warmed the meadows, Nova strayed a little from her mother's side. Just then, a butterfly more beautiful than she had ever seen landed right on the tip of her nose. The butterfly was the color of the deepest blue of the sky and had golden yellow patterns on its wings. The butterfly fluttered up and flew towards the edge of the forest, where the emerald forest began. Nova couldn't help but follow this magical blueness. Nova entered the forest, hopping and skipping, following the blue butterfly. At first, everything was familiar, the trees were sparse, and sunlight reached the ground. But the butterfly glided deeper into the forest, to places Nova had never been before. As Nova moved forward, the world around her began to change. The trees grew tall enough to touch the sky and became thicker. Their leaves were so dense that sunlight now only fell to the ground in small speckles. The air cooled down, and the scent of fresh soil filled her nose. Instead of the cheerful buzzing of the meadows, now the rustle-rustle sound of giant leaves and the mysterious calls of distant birds could be heard. Nova made one last move to catch the butterfly, but it went behind a huge fern and disappeared. Nova stopped. She looked around. She tried to remember which direction she came from, but everywhere looked the same. Huge tree roots curled over the soil like giant snakes. "I think I've gone a bit too far," Nova said to herself. Her voice sounded tiny among these great trees. She walked in one direction to go back, but after a while, she realized she passed by the same giant mushroom. Although this red mushroom with white spots looked familiar, the path was definitely not. Her heart started beating fast like a tiny bird. She tried not to be afraid, but she missed the safe openness of the meadows. At that moment, she noticed that the light of the horn on her forehead had dimmed a little, turning from bright yellow to a pale blue. Her horn could feel that she was worried. She sat on a log and took a deep breath. She remembered what her mother always told her: if you get lost, stop, take a deep breath, and listen to the sounds around you. The forest will speak to you. Nova closed her eyes and began to listen. The sound of the wind, the murmur of a stream. And then, snap! Patter-patter, sound coming from right above her. She opened her eyes and looked up. On the branch of a giant oak tree stood a squirrel with red fur and a tail bigger than himself. The squirrel held an acorn in his hand and tilted his head, looking at Nova curiously. "Hello," said the squirrel in a fast and cheerful voice. "You're not from around here, are you? You are so bright that it's impossible not to see you." Nova smiled, her horn glowing slightly. "Hello. My name is Nova. I think I'm lost. I was following a blue butterfly, and now I can't find the way to the meadows." The squirrel hopped from branch to branch and came down. My name is Leo. I am the fastest nut collector in this forest. And let me tell you, those blue butterflies are very playful. It brought you right to the heart of the forest. Leo wagged his tail. Don't worry, finding directions is my job. But my paths are a bit high up. Leo offered to climb the trees and show Nova the way, but Nova's hooves were not suitable for climbing trees. Leo giggled when he realized this. You're right. You must come from below. But don't worry, I know someone who can help you. With Leo moving from the treetops and Nova from below, they went on for a while. Finally, they came to the edge of a clear, cool stream. A delicate creature was standing there drinking water. It was a light brown fawn with huge, wet eyes and white spots on it. Leo called out from the branch, Mia. Hey Mia. Look who I brought you. Mia lifted her head and stepped back timidly when she saw Nova. Nova's glowing horn had surprised her a little. Nova said gently, Hello Mia, don't be afraid. I'm Nova. I'm lost, and Leo is helping me. Her voice was so soft that Mia's fear disappeared immediately. Mia said in a thin voice, Hello Nova. The paths of the Emerald Forest can be confusing sometimes. I know the trails well. It is hard to pass through the thorny bushes here, but I can show you the soft mossy path. Nova was very happy. The path Mia showed was indeed very comfortable for her hooves. They walked silently on soft moss. Mia in front, Nova behind, and Leo following them, hopping from branch to branch. The light of Nova's horn had started to turn back to its warm yellow color. After walking for a while, the forest began to look even older. The trunks of the trees were so wide that 3 unicorns could only just wrap around them if they stood side by side. Mia stopped and waited in front of an old, hollow giant log. We must stop here, said Mia. Only he knows the shortest way to the meadows. Too intelligent, amber eyes shone from the darkness inside the log. Then, a fox with pointed ears, orange fur, and a black tip on his nose slowly came out. This was Felix, one of the wisest animals in the forest. Felix looked at Nova carefully. He said in a deep voice. It seems a little piece of light from Whispering Meadows has fallen into our forest. Nova bowed respectfully. Yes, Mr. Felix. I am trying to return home. Felix smoothed his whiskers. Leo showed you the highway, Mia showed you the soft way. But the way to the meadows passes through the silver rocks. It is hard to find that place because the rocks change color as the sun sets and hide the path. Felix looked at the sky. The sun had started to set, and the forest was turning an orange color. We must hurry. Follow me, little light. Thus, the 4 new friends set off. Wise Felix was in the very front, sniffing the path and reading the signs. Behind him, gentle Mia was choosing the smoothest trail so Nova wouldn't trip. Nova was walking in the middle of them, in safety. At the very top, Leo was checking if there was any danger ahead and sometimes humming cheerful tunes. As it began to get dark, the forest took on a more mysterious state. Shadows lengthened. But just then, something wonderful happened. Nova's horn, thanks to the happiness and trust she felt with the help of her friends, began to emit its brightest light yet. Her horn was illuminating the path ahead like a small lantern. Felix said without looking back, Well done, Nova. Your light will make it easier for us to find the silver rocks. Finally, they arrived at the rocks Felix had mentioned. Indeed, with the last lights of the setting sun, the rocks looked purple one moment and grey the next. But Nova's bright light clearly illuminated the narrow passage between two large rocks. When they passed through the rocky passage, a familiar, warm breeze hit their faces. The sweet scent of flowers filled their noses. There it was. Whispering Meadows lay peacefully in the twilight of the evening. The moon was slowly rising in the sky. In the distance, Nova's mother and the other unicorns were waiting anxiously. Seeing Nova's glowing light, they all neighed with joy. Nova stopped at the edge of the forest and turned to her new friends. The light of her horn flickered with gratitude. "I don't know how to thank you," said Nova. "Leo, thank you for finding me and cheering me up. Mia, thank you for showing me the gentle paths. And Felix, thank you for getting us home with your wisdom." Leo swung down from the branch. "You are always welcome, Nova. But watch out for butterflies next time," he said, giggling. Mia gently touched Nova's mane with her nose. Felix nodded wisely. "Being curious is good, little Nova, it feeds your light. But even in the greatest adventures, having friends who know the way home is even better." Nova waved to her friends and ran towards her mother, to her safe meadows. That night, as she fell asleep on the soft grass, she thought that the Emerald Forest wasn't that scary anymore. Because she knew she had wonderful friends there, among the trees.